Hospitals. Places of healing, safety, and care. But sometimes, they become something else entirely. Imagine this: a man walks into a hospital, injured but very much alive. He is checked in, examined by doctors, and scheduled for further treatment. Then, he vanishes. No one sees him leave. No one knows where he went. Days turn into weeks, and his family desperately searches for answers. But the hospital has none. It's as if he simply disappeared into thin air. Then, nearly 2 weeks later, a foul smell begins creeping through the halls of the hospital, a stench so unbearable that it can't be ignored. Staff follow the odor to an unexpected place, the ceiling. And that's when they make a horrifying discovery. There, hidden above them, is the body of the missing man. Decomposed. Forgotten. How did he get there? How does a man with a broken leg end up in a hospital ceiling? Did he climb up there himself? Or did someone put him there? Was this an accident, a tragic case of negligence, or something far more sinister? Today, we're looking into the disturbing and baffling case of Sandile Sibiya, the man who entered a hospital for help only to be found dead in a place no one expected. This case remains a chilling mystery, and by the end of this video, you might have your own theory on what really happened. Sandile Sibiya was a 53-year-old construction worker from Durban, South Africa. To those who knew him, he was the picture of health, a man who took pride in his independence and strength. He was the kind of person who could carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, both at work and at home. But on May 10, 2019, everything changed. It was an ordinary day until tragedy struck. Sandile suffered a devastating injury, a broken right femur, one of the strongest bones in the human body. The pain was excruciating, and he knew he needed help fast. He was rushed to Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Hospital, a place he trusted would mend his broken body. At the hospital, an X-ray confirmed the grim reality: his femur was fractured. The doctors admitted him for further treatment, assuring him that he would be transferred to another facility better equipped to handle his injury. But what followed was not the swift, compassionate care Sandile had hoped for. Instead, it was the beginning of a nightmare that would test his spirit in ways he never imagined. This is where the story takes a dark turn. The hospital's response, or lack thereof, would become the center of a battle that goes beyond one man's suffering, a battle that raises questions about accountability, humanity, and the very essence of care. It all began on May 10, 2019, the day Sandile Sibiya's life took a tragic turn. But then, something went terribly wrong. Shortly after his admission, hospital staff arrived to prepare him for the transfer. To their shock, Sandile was gone. His bed was empty, and there was no sign of him. Panic set in. How could a man with a broken leg, unable to walk on his own, just disappear? The hospital launched an immediate search. Staff scoured every corner of the building, wards, hallways, bathrooms, even nearby streets. But Sandile was nowhere to be found. The local police were called in, and a missing person investigation began. Authorities questioned staff, reviewed security footage, and reached out to the community for any clues. Yet, despite their efforts, there were no answers. The search efforts grew more desperate. Posters were put up, and appeals were made to the public. But no one had seen Sandile leave the hospital. Given the severity of his injury, it seemed impossible for him to have walked out on his own. The mystery deepened. How could a man vanish into thin air, especially in a place where he was supposed to be cared for? This was no ordinary disappearance. It was a puzzle that defied logic, leaving everyone involved, family, hospital staff, and investigators, utterly baffled. And as the days turned into weeks, the question remained: what really happened to Sandile Sibiya? On May 24, 2019, a terrible odor began to seep through the halls of Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Hospital. Staff traced the smell to a storage room, and what they found was beyond anyone's worst fears. Hidden above the ceiling panels lay Sandile Sibiya's decomposing body. The discovery sent shockwaves through the hospital and the community. How could a man with a broken femur, unable to walk, end up in such a place? The questions were endless, and the answers elusive. Investigators scrambled to piece together what had happened. Was this a tragic accident, a case of foul play, or something even more disturbing? Several theories emerged, each more unsettling than the last. The first theory suggested suicide or a mental breakdown. Some reports falsely claimed Sandile was a psychiatric patient, but this was quickly debunked. His family and friends insisted he had no history of mental illness. He was a strong, independent man who had no reason to take his own life. This theory raised more questions than answers. The second theory pointed to hospital negligence or a possible cover-up. Could staff have made a fatal mistake during his care and hidden his body to avoid accountability? Was there a medical accident that someone tried to bury, literally? The hospital's initial failure to locate him during their search only fueled suspicions of incompetence or worse. The third and most chilling theory involved foul play. Did someone deliberately place Sandile's body in the ceiling? Was he harmed by another patient, a staff member, or even an outsider? The idea that someone could have taken advantage of his vulnerable state was deeply troubling. Each theory left a gaping hole in the story, and none provided a clear explanation. The truth remained hidden, much like Sandile's body had been. What really happened in those 2 weeks? Who was responsible? And why did it take so long for the hospital to find him? From the very beginning, the investigation into Sandile Sibiya's disappearance faced one obstacle after another. The hospital claimed it had strong security measures in place, but if that were true, how did a man with a broken leg vanish without a trace? No one reported seeing him leave the premises, and given his condition, it seemed impossible for him to have walked out on his own. Yet, there was no evidence to prove otherwise. One of the most glaring gaps was the lack of surveillance footage. In an age where CCTV cameras are everywhere, there was no video to show what happened to Sandile. How could a hospital, a place where safety should be paramount, have no record of his movements? This missing piece of the puzzle left investigators and the public frustrated and suspicious. Official statements from authorities did little to ease the growing concerns. While they promised a thorough investigation, no clear resolution was ever provided. The case seemed to stall, leaving Sandile's family and the community in limbo. Without answers, speculation and anger began to grow. The public outcry was loud and fierce. Locals were outraged, demanding answers and accountability. How could a man simply disappear from a hospital? Why was there no transparency in the investigation? The lack of progress fueled rumors and mistrust, turning Sandile's tragedy into a symbol of a broken system. These challenges and roadblocks didn't just hinder the investigation, they deepened the pain of those left behind. For Sandile's family, the unanswered questions were a constant reminder of their loss. For the public, it was a wake-up call to the flaws in a system meant to protect and heal. As of today, Sandile Sibiya's death remains shrouded in mystery. No further updates or conclusive reports have been released by authorities or the hospital. The official cause of death has never been determined, leaving his family and the public to wonder what truly happened in those final days of his life. The hospital, once at the center of this scandal, has never provided a clear explanation. How did a man with a broken femur end up hidden in a ceiling? Was it negligence, foul play, or something else entirely? These questions linger, unanswered, as the case grows colder with each passing year. For Sandile's loved ones, the lack of resolution is a heavy burden. They are left with only memories of a man who was full of life and strength, and the haunting knowledge that his final moments remain a mystery. For the public, it's a stark reminder of how easily the truth can slip through the cracks of a system that should protect us. We want to hear from you. Drop your theories in the comments below. Do you believe Sandile's death was an accident, foul play, or the result of hospital negligence? Every opinion matters, and your insights could spark new conversations about this haunting case. If you're as captivated by this mystery as we are, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We bring you the most gripping true crime stories, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. Together, let's shine a light on the unsolved and demand answers for those who can no longer speak for themselves. The story of Sandile Sibiya isn't over, not yet. And with your help, it never will be.